Brown with Cajun Cardboard, coming at you from the great state of Louisiana. Today I've got an awesome Jordan video. It's going to be super fun. It's focused for beginner Jordan collectors. Either you just started collecting Jordan stuff from the 90s, or maybe you're dipping your toe in the water, or maybe you're having that little dark creature on your shoulder whispering to you, hey, chill on the Zions, chill on the Ja Morants and the Doncic and some of these more risky plays. Let's dive into a little bit of Jordan stuff. But you're on a budget. So today's video is going to sort of be tailored to new-ish Jordan collectors, or people who may have some interest in getting into Jordan collecting in the 90s, but on a limited budget of $500. I've got 6 cards pulled up that you could buy with $500 and some even less that I think would be good foundational pieces, good first steps into the world of collecting Jordan 90s cards. Again, I want to be very clear, as always, I'm not telling anybody to buy any of these cards. I'm not giving anybody any investment advice. We're not even really going to talk about which one I think is going to be the best investment long term. I'm simply giving you 6 options depending on your collecting type of strategy and how you like to collect, where you could get into the Jordan market for $500 or less. A lot of people out there that collect think that Jordan cards have ran so much that they're just too exorbitant and uncollectible because they're too expensive. Well, I'm going to show you a way to get into the Jordan market and buy a really badass Jordan insert or parallel from the 90s in various grades for a very affordable price of $500 or below. So let's not waste any more time. I've got Card Ladder pulled up. Here's the way we're going to do it. I went into the Card Ladder index. I sorted by player indexes. I clicked on Michael Jordan. Then I typed in PSA. We're going to do 1 PSA 8 card. We're going to do 1 PSA 9 card. We're going to do 2 BGS 9.5 cards. And we're going to do 2 PSA 10 cards, depending on the way you like to collect. If you're a grade snob like me, you may want to pay attention to the PSA 10s. If you're a PSA only person, PSA 10s, PSA 9s, PSA 8s. I got 3 options for you. If you're a BGS 9.5 or bust type of person, I got 2 BGS 9.5 options for you. So depending on how you want to collect, here's the other thing. You could buy raw, and you could get a lot more bang for your buck on raw than in one of these PSA or BGS slabs. But I've got 1 PSA 8, 1 PSA 9, 2 BGS 9.5s, and 2 PSA 10 options for you. Let's start with the PSA 8. So here it is. I've got it sorted. I've got a cap on value. This is all of the stuff that's in the Card Ladder index for Michael Jordan in PSA 8 that's $500 or less. As you can see, card number 1 is the soul of the game. I looked at it, pop 110, 480 last sold. Card Ladder thinks it's about 471. Card number 2 is Records Collection. I looked closely here at the pop 183, 94 finest refractor with coating parallel in a PSA 8, and I opted to go with the Records Collection. I think just at the top of the list, if you want to get the most bang for your buck, under 500. I also took a close look here. The PSA 8 East-West is only a pop 18, which is a super low pop, but I think that's because most of them grade real well at 9s or 10s, and so it's not that the card is super rare, it's that they grade so well. PSA 8's actually more rare than PSA 9s and 10s, and again, that's not the refractor, that's just a base. So I went with card number 1 in our PSA 8 category. If you had $500 to spend, a great entry level card would be this 1997 Upper Deck Records Collection Michael Jordan card that you see on your screen right there. Beautiful color match, extremely condition sensitive. There's no shame in owning a PSA 8 copy. I own a PSA 10 copy, humble brag, but the PSA 8 copy that you see on your screen looks damn near identical to my PSA 10. I'll be quite honest with you. My PSA 10 has one white corner on it that probably doesn't even deserve a 10, but it is nonetheless because I'm a grade snob. So really good looking color match card here with Jordan with the record in the background. One of the coolest things I've ever seen on Instagram or Facebook, I can't remember where I saw it, but was somebody had the complete Records Collection set put together and all of them laid out, and it was just really, really vibrant, really good looking with that consistent record in the background. Just a really good looking set laid out in a picture, and you guys know how much I love pictures. The card's a $468 last sold in this month, so only a few weeks ago it sold for $468. Like I said, it's a pop 64. There's only been about 300 ever graded between PSA and BGS. Some of them are probably cracks and resubs, but you could say that about a lot of the Jordan 90 stuff. It's got a 7% gem rate. That's important, right? To recognize that the gem rate on this card is really low, which brings into play the PSA 9s and the PSA 8s. So, if you're looking to collect only it may not matter as much to you. But if one day you know you're not one of those take it to the grave people, there is a little bit of an investor. You want to make sure you don't get your ass handed to you. And the other thing is you want to make sure you're buying a card for your first foray into the Jordan world. You want to make sure you're buying a card from a recognizable set, a predictable, dependable set. You don't want to buy anything that's too obscure. You don't want to. I don't think you want to dive into the Skybox Thunder or the EX2000s or anything that's a little bit too obscure. Upper Deck is about as recognizable as it gets from the 90s. Upper Deck, Tops, Fleer, Skybox, stuff like that. So this Upper Deck Records collection would be my choice for the PSA 8 card. Again, it's a pop 64 in PSA 8. There's only 58, 63 higher. I think I did that quick math. Yeah, 63 higher. It's a 7.22% gem rate. Less than 200 have ever even been graded by PSA. I think that's a very safe, good first purchase under $500 for a PSA 8 type collector. What do you want to step it up a little bit? Let's step it up. PSA 9s. Let's look at the mint, right? You're going to be able to buy less card for your dollar when you're looking at a little bit higher grade. So the card quality is going to be a little bit, the condition's going to be higher, but the card quality, the pack odds are going to be a little bit easier. The card significance is going to be a little bit lower. And so that's the sacrifice you make when you want to collect cards in high grade. And you're always kind of straddling that balance. This one was easy. I didn't even have to go past card number 1. It is unquestionably, if you don't own a single Jordan card and you're going to buy one, this might be the one that I would tell you to buy in the first place. It's the 1992 Stadium Club Beam Team card number 1. The Scoring Kings would be another pretty close, what and what right there. These are the two cards that I personally perceive. These were the first two cards that I ever bought of Michael Jordan from the 90s. The 92 Beam Team and the 93 Ultra Scoring Kings. But this card, under $500 in a PSA 9, again, the pop's high, but this is a card that's going to have lasting value. One of Jordan's earliest inserts, most recognizable inserts. From Stadium Club, which is a super collectible product from the 90s, so there's nothing obscure about that. That is a card that people are always going to want, even with a 2,495 PSA population. It's a 4% gem rate, so you can pretty much eliminate the 10s. Again, I have a 10 in a 10 members only. Humble brag again. Not really humble brag, just brag. So I have the 10s, but I also have the 8s, right? Because I love the card, and I think the card will have meaning forever, anywhere from 10 to 8, and even some raw collectors out there. Again, another great insert set, not just for Jordan, but for other players in the set. Also very, very collectible. So that would be my card in the PSA 9 category. Underneath that was an Atomics Refractor. Not really my joint. Bowman's Best is not as nearly as popular as the Stadium Clubs, the Ultras, the Fleers, the Upper Deck inserts and parallels like that, and the Finest. The UD3 is just too obscure, right? It's UD3. It's actually called Upper Deck Cubed. It's supposed to be cubed, but we call it UD3. I don't know if everybody knew that, but this is the MJ33. It's a 3-card set. This is the card on the right. The right and the left are die cut. The center one's a little bit die cut with a little bit of a slope, and they connect together to form a little 3-card mini set, but it's a little too obscure. The Skyview would have been another great option because I know the pop's going to be low on this one, significantly lower than the Beam Team. Alien Jordan. Again, look at this card. That does not look like Jordan. It looks more like Sam Cassell. It doesn't even look like MJ, but that card's a pop 118, much lower pop than the Beam Team. And much more difficult pack odds. I just think it's a little bit more off the beaten path. And for my first card, if I had $500, and for my very first Jordan card, I'd go with the staple. And this is one of those rare situations where I take the higher pop card over the lower pop Skyview. So I'd go here with this Beam Team 1992 PSA 9. Moving on, let's go to the BGS 9.5. Now you're taking a little baby step higher, right? You're getting a little bit better grade than the PSA 9, quite likely. Again, depending on the subgrades, you're switching grading companies. And so BGS might not appeal to some of you younger folks that just got into the hobby post-2016 because now PSA is everything. But if you're old like me, or you grew up reading Beckett magazines, or you collected in the 90s and the early 2000s, you're going to have some nostalgia for Beckett, and you're either not going to mind it, you're going to prefer it, or you're going to be fine with either. And so when we take that little baby step up condition-wise and grade quality-wise to BGS 9.5, we got a couple of options up here at the top. I throw out the Wizards Jordan because I don't think that's the direction you want to go with the first Jordan that you buy. You're going to want to buy a Jordan in a Bulls uniform. Again, I'm not telling anybody out there that collects Wizards not to buy it, because I have some Wizards refractors, including the one that's on the screen right here. This is the 2001 Topps Chrome. The Topps Chrome Topps 40 refractor is another option. Last sold at about $484. The Center Stage we're going to talk about in a second. And actually, I got these backwards. Let's go with Center Stage. The Center Stage is the first of the 9.5s that I would pick up. And the reason is purely because of condition scarcity, right? This is not the toughest insert to pull from a pack odds standpoint. You can see about 1,800 of them have been graded between PSA and BGS. Very low gem rate of 4.73, which is important to remember. For Beckett, the gem rate's 12.99, not super high, not super low, about what you would expect. Only 57 of them out there. So you're buying a card where there's only 57 of them in this gem mint slab. And the card's just freaking gorgeous. The bedazzled Michael Jordan in the background with the Center Stage logo down here in the bottom left on the Skybox Premium card is just flat out absolutely freaking awesome. And so this would be my choice if I had $500 to spend. Again, I have the card in a PSA 10. But I love the card, and I would be happy to have this card in a BGS 9.5. We look at what the card's done maybe over the last 3 months. Again, there's only 57, so there's not going to be too many sales. This is another reason why I like the card, because it just recently dipped back under $500. The last sale before this one was $550. It jumped to $432. So I think you got a little bit of built-in value there if you're that investor and you got your eye on future value. If we look at the last 6 months, same. If we look at the last year, you know, the card spiked from 300 to 550 back down to 432. Again, subs mean something, so you can click on the view all sales and check those out. But that would be card number 1 for me in a BGS 9.5. Card number 2, and it might actually be card number 1, even though it's worth less than the Center Stage. This is a tough pack odds card. This is the Hoops 1997 Hoops Frequent Flyers Club, and let me pull it up. There's also a Frequent Flyers Upgrade, which is really, really low pop and a little bit different shade of blue. But this is the base Frequent Flyer Club in a BGS 9.5 slab. It's almost like a credit card or like a Frequent Flyer Club card, right? Like American Airlines card or Delta card or whatever. It's got rounded edges, almost like a credit card on the 4 corners. So the corners always grade really well. That's why this one got a 9.5. It's a pop 90. There's been about 500 of these ever graded. The gem rate's really high, again, and it's primarily because of the corners, right? So it grades well with PSA. It really grades well with BGS down here at 52.94% because the corners are getting 9.5 or 10 damn near every single time. It's really hard to damage a rounded corner compared to a sharp pointy corner. And so for that reason, you'll see 90 of them have gemmed, about 200 gems total between the two cards. But I'm going with this card. It's very unique. It's got a theme. It's like almost like a credit card, Frequent Flyers card theme. That's why it's called Frequent Flyers Club. You're in the club once you have this card. And so that's the card that I would pick up. Another good reason is it just dropped $100. I always like to pick up the Jordan cards that I've recently dropped if I can pick them up at or near the last comp, because that means I do have at least a little bit of built-in value as long as that prior comp is not too far in the past. It's kind of dependable. Let's look at the last 2 years, what this card's done. It's up over the last 2 years about 23%, but like I said, it got up here consistently over $500, and now it's back down into the 300s. That's a no-brainer for me, man. That is definitely a card that I would like to pick up. I'd probably pick this card up at 346 before I would pick this card up at 432, even though the pop is lower. Moving on to the big boys. Let's talk about the PSA 10s, right? I got 2 of them picked out for you. Now remember, PSA 10 premium is the biggest premium in the business, the biggest premium in the hobby. A lot of people out there for that reason don't like to collect them. A lot of people in the hobby for that reason do collect them, right? It cuts both ways. Because the premium is so large and because the pop is so low, some people stay away from them because they're not getting as much bang for their buck when it comes to the quality and the difficulty and the pack odds of the card. But some people, like me have an issue and have a problem in their OCD, and they don't like 9s, 8s, 9s, and 10s, even though I am collecting 8s now because I'm trying to talk myself into being more collector savvy and less investor. People love the fact that they're in an exclusive club when they pick up a very meaningful Jordan PSA 10 card. So again, like I've reiterated at least 3 times before in this video, the better the grade gets, and PSA 10 is, other than BGS 10 and BGS black labels, the top of the top, right? It's pretty close to the top of the top other than BGS 10s and blacks. This is as good as you can get, so you're going to get a lot less card. So the quality of cards you get is going to be significantly lower, and here's a way that you can kind of explain that. Center Stage 9.5 is $432 last sold. Center Stage PSA 10 $735 last sold. Frequent Beam Team PSA 9 last sold $480. Beam Team PSA 10 $5,000. You see the little trend here? Frequent Flyers Club BGS 9.5 $346. PSA 10 $631. That's actually not that big of a disparity. It might be worth picking up PSA 10 of that. If we go here and we look going down, base card, no, that's not where I'm putting my $500. Base card, again, not doing it. Starscape is just not recognizable enough from that SPX. I like it. It's a great looking card. It's really cool. If we pull it up on the screen, there's a lot of different Starscape cards out there that are really good looking. These, for whatever reason, are just not highly coveted by others. Again, if you like the look of this card and you're just wanting to collect, I'm not telling you what card to buy. I'm just giving you a couple of options. I personally would pass on the Starscape. I would keep moving. Stadium Club, believe it or not, 1997 Stadium Club is super, super low pop. If we looked at the 1992 Stadium Club, the pop would be magnitudes higher. 93, 94, 95. 97 got a little bit rare. I think they printed a lot fewer, and if you go look at the grading, they've only graded a little over 800. That is very unusual. If we looked up 94 Stadium Club, there'd be thousands and thousands graded if I had to guess. But that's a base card, so we'll pass. Topps Chrome, Topps 40, good, but it's not the refractor, and it's always going to be second best. I would keep rolling down here and go with your round ball royalty with coating. Again, there's a refractor version of this card as well. This is just the base version. I like the theme. I like the name of the card. It rolls off the tongue. The picture's great. It's got the coating. I'm not a coating guy. I'd rather the card without the coating and save a few bucks. But if you like coating and the way the card came in the packs, this is it. This is what you're looking at. It's nice that the words don't interfere with Jordan's face. They're over here to the side, so you're good to go as far as that go. It doesn't interfere with the image. It's a pop 35. This card in a PSA 10 is a pop 35. It's a 15% gem rate in PSA, twice as many BGS 9.5. So for that reason, the PSA is even more cool. Only 223 ever graded by PSA, 205 by Beckett. So you're under 500 total graded between the two. This is the card that I'm going with over any other card in a PSA 10. The next card is going to be the Star Power Plus. I just scrolled down a little bit more. It was tough for me to go past my boy. This is a card that I've actually stacked, and I love the pump. I don't pump and dump, but I do like the pump. I just love this card. I think it's awesome. But we're not going to choose this card. I'm not choosing this card because I think it's a little bit too high of a pop at 168. I'm choosing this card, which is the first of a 3-card insert parallel set. So this is the Star Power insert. There's a Star Power Plus insert parallel. There's also a Star Power Supreme insert parallel. So it's like a 3-card insert set with 2 parallels, the Plus and the Supreme. This is just the base Plus, not the craziest pack odds ever. As you can see, about 800 of them have been graded by PSA and BGS combined. The gem rate's a nice, healthy, not too high, not too low, 15.38%. There are 102 PSA 10s. There's 42 BGS 9.5s. And the price is a nice, easy $400. And another thing that I like, and I tell you this all the time, there's the card, by the way, with the little atom symbols in the background. The thing I like about the card is that it was just $500 a couple of months ago, and then it steadily dropped. 426, 357, 380, 357, 400. If I could pick this thing up at 400 or a shade below, I'm all in. Definitely all in. It's even down from 6 months ago. It's even down from a year ago. It's even down from way down from 2 years ago. So the card just recently sold at 357. That's about the lowest this card has sold for in the last 26 sales. So the time is right to pick this card up, and that factored into my decision as well. Whereas on the other card that I was kind of deliberating between the Star Power, the Soaring Stars, if you look at the Soaring Stars over the last 3 months, it's actually up. it's up 2%, or it's about on the number. So if given 2 cards of equal value, I'm going to take the card that's down 20, 25, 30, 40% over the card that's even over the last 3 months, just because that just means there's a little bit more meat left on the bone as far as long-term growth goes. Although that is a beautiful card. I don't know how anybody could deny that. So that's it, guys. That's all I wanted to chat about today. 6 great options to choose from in PSA 8, PSA 9, BGS 9.5, and PSA 10. Hopefully you guys enjoy videos like this. Again, I don't put... I'm trying not to persuade anyone to buy any particular card. I have no dog in this hunt. I just want, well, I do have a dog in the hunt. I want more people to collect Jordan because it's brought so much joy and fun and obsession and anxiety and nerves and friendships, to be quite honest with you, in the hobby. Once I got into the Jordan world, my joy in the hobby exploded to unprecedented levels, and I've met some of the greatest Jordan collectors in the world who happen to be some of the greatest people in the world and some of the smartest dudes in the world, to be quite honest with you. And I've learned a ton from a lot of people that collect Jordan. It's a world within a world, and even within that world, if you collect just autographed Jordans, that's a world within a world within a world, or patch Jordans, a world within a world within a world. But I wanted to give a couple of options in PSA 8 all the way up to PSA 10 and everything in between, so you guys know it is doable. If you have $500, instead of buying a silver PSA 10 Doncic rookie card, pop 400 billion, you can go buy a Soaring Stars pop 168, or you know, an MJ3, or an award winner hologram, or a Star Power base under $500. Get in. It's not one of those deals where this is not for the people who are looking to get in and out of a card in 6 months. Could it work? Yeah, I guess it could, but you might do better with your prospecting and more risk reward that way. This is not about analyzing risk reward and trying to cash out of a card 6 months later. This is, hey, I really like collecting cards. I really want to start a new massive mountain of a challenge and start collecting Jordan 90 stuff and really dive in and educate myself and inundate myself in the hobby and meet some new people and some new folks and explore a whole new niche of the hobby, which is 90s basketball inserts and parallels. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I'll put more stuff about 90s basketball out there. You guys know me. If you enjoyed this video and you like it, hit the subscribe button. My guess is if you like this video, you're probably going to like the 2 videos that are going to be on this end screen that are suggested for you. So go click one of these and keep watching. It helps me with the YouTube algorithm, whatever that is and whatever that means. And I'm always trying to grow the channel commercial free for your enjoyment. So thank you guys for watching. Keep collecting. Stay positive in the hobby. Let me know in the comments, did I miss a Jordan? Is there a Jordan under $500 that you guys would have chosen over the ones that I shared today? There's got to be, right? Because everybody's got an opinion about all the millions of Jordan cards that you, well, not millions, but thousands of Jordan cards that you've got to choose from. Sometimes it's a win-win. It doesn't matter where you put your money when you're putting it into MJ stuff, because it's going to be fun and enjoyable to build that MJ collection regardless of where you put the bucks. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Keep collecting. Stay positive in the hobby, and peace.